Okay, so, all right, so thanks everyone for joining us today. We are going to be working through Word and Forms for specifically for administrative staff. Myself, I'm an elementary school teacher, certified K to 8 or K to 10 in science actually, and so I've been working with Microsoft and their programs over the last 5 years, 4 years now. I was working directly with Microsoft for a few years, so it was really nice experience that I got. And now I'm back in the classroom a little bit here and there, just sort of practicing what I've been preaching over the last little bit. On the phone today, or on the call today, we have the wonderful Isabella, my neighbor down the street, which is great. So you can unmute your microphone, maybe give a little spiel about yourself, say hello.
Yeah, I'm Isabella. I think I've met some of you when I did the Excel for admin staff, so it's really great to see some of the familiar faces here. I am a high school science teacher. Our school also predominantly uses, we go back and forth between Microsoft as well as Google. So today, like Microsoft Forms, especially what Coulter is going to be showing you today, is going to be very handy when it comes to collecting data and like creating surveys for our wider school community. So.
Awesome. I'd also just like to start today to recognize the lands that we're on. Myself and Isabella, because we are neighbors, we are on the lands of the Mississauga of the Credit. We are both currently settled on the Treaty 13A. And I think it is super important that we recognize this and pay tribute to the lands that we're on and that we care for this land. I'd also like to make sure that I am doing it justice and being a part of this as a caretaker. So I appreciate them letting me settle here. And I encourage you to check out the native land that you're on by visiting native-land.ca. A little shout out to Cobblestone Collective, wonderful company that we both consult for. And just thank you so much for setting this up for us. And also a little shout out to Microsoft, who has supported these sessions in the past and continue to do so to make them available to you. So thank you, Microsoft Canada, for supporting that. And this is a part of our 6-part workshop series. So if you missed any of them in the past, feel free to go back and review them at your own pace. They are recorded. And I believe this might even be the last one. So hopefully we end off with a bang and we get some practical tools that you might not know that was available to you, and maybe that you're just going to enhance some of your maybe workflow and making things a little bit easier for you. Today's plan was basically just to run through some stuff in Word and then move over to Forms. If you have anything in particular, though, that you'd like me to go over and cover, please let me know in the in the chat. I'm happy to tailor this towards you, the audience. So if you have any questions, we have a nice intimate group right now. You can even unmute your microphone and ask those questions as well. That's not a problem. And if you do have, and if you don't feel comfortable unmuting your microphone, feel free to post it in the chat, and Isabella's got us there, and we'll provide some extra resources and even some links for you today. So I'm sure she'll pop the link for this slide deck in there if it's not already there, but we'll get that to you. And while we're doing that, if you can head on over to your office portal page, please head there now. And we're just going to sign in. Now, some of you might be working with your desktop. Some of you might be working with your browser base. It definitely is helpful if you do tell me what type of device you're working on, because when I do show my desktop, there might be a few things that are confusing for you, and I can definitely try to talk to that. If you're on a Windows 10 device or even a Chromebook or something different, please let me know. That would be great. And head on over to portal.office.com, sign yourself in, and I'm going to do that right now as well. And I'm going to share my screen and move over this guy. So here's our office portal. Okay, on the top right, I always recommend this too. Top right says Install Office. With your school account, you do have the option to download these to your desktop. I definitely encourage you to download them to your desktop. You have a little bit more functionality, so you'll be able to do a few more things. One thing today that I'll definitely show is just even adding 3D art into your Word documents. Not available in the office, not available on the browser, but available on your desktop. So you can always tell you're on the browser. You have the internet up there, the internet URL there. You can tell you're on the desktop. There's a program down here. Okay. So let's begin. Word should be there on the left-hand side, but if you don't see it, you can always click on the window down here at the bottom. And this will open up your panel of options that you have and all your tools. Yours might look a little bit different than mine, but for the most part, you have similar tools. We're going to jump into Word today. If you do have any questions about any of these, we're going to give you a help desk email. And if you want to learn a little bit more about this at the very end, we'll give you the email and you can explore this. And if you get lost, we're happy to help you out through this. You can also, in our feedback form, let us know if there's one particular one you'd like to learn about, and we can try to set up a workshop for you or around that topic. Like something like Stream, really easy way to record your videos, do some basic editing, things like that. And even Whiteboard is such a powerful tool right now as well. So you do have some options, and we'd like to hear from you about that. So let's get into Word. So I'm going to click on Word, and it's going to open up my, let's see here, my sort of Word launch page, I guess you could call it. One thing that I like to do is I like to pin some of these things. So on this account, it's not letting me pin it, but maybe on your account, you can actually pin some options, and it might be even on your desktop too, where you can pin any of the Word documents that you've been working on. And you'll just see like a little pin there. Let me see if I can. I've got a second account here that should have it. So like I said, I got a bunch of accounts open right now to make sure that I can cover some things, because one is a school board account with some different functions. One is my personal account with some less functions. So no matter what though, right now I am working in my browser, so you know that. So don't ask me why my work account doesn't offer me to pin this. I'm not too sure, but see, I've got this pin here. When I pin it, it just makes it that it's going to be at the top. Okay, so I can pin that. Let me pin this. And then when I click on pinned, they're just right there. So it makes it really easy for me to find things inside of my Word instead of having to scroll all the way down and finding these things. Like maybe I want to find Ontario waterfalls. Now that that's pinned, I click on that and it's right here. So you should be able to see this in your homepage. If you do not, or in your lobby page, I guess, the launch page, we'll call this. If you do not, like I didn't here, maybe it's just because we don't have enough items there. That might be why I'm thinking, and it's recognized that I got a bunch of items here. That's the only thing that comes to mind. I'm not sure why that it wouldn't be available to everybody, other than that you just don't have enough content that you need to pin things just yet. So if you don't have enough content, that's great. Sounds like you're pretty organized right now. So from here, I do want to talk about your templates. You do have some great ones, especially in Microsoft Word. These ones are the ones that I like the best out of all of them. I find them to be the most practical and transferable even as well. So that's not what I want to click on. So I'm going to click on more templates right here on the right side. And you can see that for my more templates, I am able to scroll down. I got a bunch of these. Now, everyone on the call might be doing something different, but you might find something practical here, like even this family chore chart. Not bad. Maybe not practical at work just yet. Maybe you need that at work. I mean, there are some things that you might find here that are actually quite useful just to get you started. Even like this 5-day trip planner, something that you might be able to use in your personal life. Okay, but if none of these work, you can also click on Explore More Templates or Explore All Templates, and it's going to bring you to office.com/templates. And from here, you'll be able to see all of the options you have across your Office 365 suite. So I know that we've talked about this in the past in our previous administrative workshops that we've done, but personally, I really think that the best one is Word, and the more practical ones. And most school boards, at least I know my school board, allows me to explore the premium templates. So I've signed in. You should be able to have permission to that. Again, every school board has different licensing, but I have an A3 license, and I think most school boards do as well, and that should allow you in here. to browse the premium templates. So lucky us, right? And then if I clicked on this, I can go down and I can see some other things as well. So I encourage you to spend some time here exploring some templates, checking out some featured ones. Maybe you can find, and the nice thing is you can see here, once I clicked on featured, it organized it on the left-hand side for me. So if I need a budget template, I have it here. If I need to print out certificates, I have them here. Maybe we have a list of things that we need to do. Newsletters. Okay, so you have a bunch of these options here, and it's just a really nice way to work easier, right? Work smarter, not harder. Okay, so feel free to grab those, take a look, explore them, and spend some time just checking some things out, because as you don't check them out at first, in my opinion, and if you don't know that they're there, you'll just start creating on your own. So if you forget that they're there, then you've just you've wasted the opportunity to use one of these, right? So keeping it always in mind before you even start whatever task you're going to work on, keeping it in mind that you can actually come here and find those is something that I always try to remember. It's like, okay, maybe I'll check the templates first, see what I have available to me. I don't spend long, spend 2 or 3 minutes, and then I move on if I can't find what I'm looking for. Okay, so I want us to get into a blank Word document. So come on over, click on new blank document. Click on that. If you are in templates and you're exploring the templates, you can just press your back arrow a couple times, and that should get you back to where we were, because it does remove you from Word and brings you right to the templates website. So you can click on the back arrow, click on your new document. Okay. So we do have the dictation feature. Really nice. It's popped up here right away for me. I think a bunch of you might already know, but if you don't, you can now just actually click on this. Might ask you for permission for my microphone. It might just completely freeze my browser. I think we're good though. It looks like it's going to start recording. I don't think it picked up the first word, so maybe it can start again. And one thing you do have to know is that you do have to say some of your punctuations. So if I wanted to say period, or if I wanted to say comma, I do need to put those in, but it's always nice to just easily type that out and then go back and get a quick once-over edit. Isabel, are we going to pop in there?
Yeah, I was just going to say, for meeting minutes, instead of just, feeling that you have to like capture everything by typing, I think this is a good way of capturing the conversation. And all you have to do as a person is just adding punctuations as the conversations carries on. So that's something that we've done in the past, especially when everybody is participating in the discussion. It's hard to keep track if you're taking minutes. So that's something that I've done in the past.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great point. Thanks for bringing that up. So that's just your dictation feature. Quite nice. If you want to sample that out, feel free to do so. If you are ready to go, though, so you have the settings there. You can always check out your settings. Built-in microphone, spoken language. You can change your language as well, which is really nice. So if you want to dictate in a different language, you can feel free to do that as well. Okay. So the first thing I want to cover is building a table of contents. It's really nice, really easy to do it. You do one thing have to have, though. You do have to have headings. So you do need to have a heading to build your table of contents. You can't see the headings here on my screen, so I'm going to just have to drop the ribbon down. I'm going to go to classic ribbon. And it's right here. So I could go to styles. Essentially, I'm looking for styles. If you can't find styles or headings, you can always use your search feature at the top here. The search feature is pretty powerful. I just typed in styles. You'll see that it will pop up. So I'm looking for styles. Oops. That's not what I wanted. But I'm just looking for styles. Basically, that's what I'm looking for. My styles. Okay, and I want a heading. So I'm looking for headings. You have a few different options for headings. I think we have 9 options here. Okay, so I'm just going to type in the first one. Doesn't matter. More so about the program today than about the content that I'm putting it in, right? But if you want to add some ideas about how to make it more practical for yourself, I'm happy to use your content. But so for example, this one here, my first heading, it just might be meeting notes, since we just talked about it. Okay, so there's my meeting notes. And let's just put in some meeting notes here. This is just an example of my meeting notes. Okay, and I'm going to head on down to my second page. So if I do a second page, enter, I could do a page break maybe as well, but I'm going to click on that and I'm going to do another heading, and this one's going to be agenda. Okay, so there's my agenda. So now that I've got my two headings, again, I found that in my home tab under styles. If you can't find it in the ribbon, maybe it's under your three dots. If you can't see it there, you can always search it in your search option. I think if I found styles there, it might be in these three dots right here. Yeah, it was tough for me to find the styles, to be honest with you. It didn't just easily pop up until I searched it, and it was only in the classic ribbon that I saw it. So, so from there, now what I can do is I can make this a really nice, easy table of contents. So I go to references on the top here, my top tab that says reference, and I click on insert table of contents. And it should, let's see it. I'm going to click it again. There we go. And we'll start building up that table of contents for it. Okay, so a really nice way to build that out. And what happens though is if I want to, say I want to add another page. Gender I did. Nothing there. So now what I can do though is I can say I want to add another table of contents. I go down, I do a little page break maybe. See here. What am I running in the background that's slowing my computer down? Let's get out of Slack. Let's get out of that. And there's one. This is the only thing I can get out of. Maybe it's going to slow it down or speed it up. So now I have a third button, or say I want to do a third page here. I'm going to put a heading. I don't even have to go there. I don't have to go to the next pages. I can just put a new heading, and it will still say where that heading is located. I'm going to go to home. I'm going to add another heading right here. And this one's going to be my to-do stuff, items, to post meeting. Okay. I can go back up here and notice it doesn't update, but it does if I hover my mouse over, it gives me that sync button to update. When I click that sync button to update, it should, there it is, right? It pops up. So a really nice, easy way to build that table of contents out. The only thing you really need to make sure you have for your table of contents is you're putting a heading or a header. Okay, and again, I was using the pages so you could see the page numbers there. Technically, you don't have to use the page number or the pages if you just want to put a new heading. Totally fine to do that. Put a new heading. Example of page on POC. Okay, and now I just go over here and I update, and you'll see that it should drop down under there, under meeting notes on page 1. Once it loads and readjusts, there it is. Okay, any questions about your table of contents? All right. So now we got our table of contents. Now we want to maybe start adding some headers. Maybe you got some things to do. You might know how to use headers. This might be your first time seeing it though. So I can click on my insert button, and then I can click on header and footer. Really easy way just to make a header for my whole page. You can also do the footer note as well. So depending on where you want to have it, dictation out of the way. Oh, what happened there? Let's try it again. So now I'm just going to add a quick little header. And this one is going to be October 1st meeting. Okay, and there's my header. Now, with those headers, though, what I have options to do, I have this little button over here on the right-hand side. Those options. Okay, so don't slip missing that. And now I can see this, and I got some options there. I can go same across the entire document. So again, it's up to you on how you want to set this up. It's going to be personal preference. But those are your options here. And it can be, let's go different even and odd pages or different first page. So it all depends on how you really want to make this happen and how you want to have these headers set up in your document. And I think because it's lagging a little bit, I'm just missing out on some of the spelling here. I'm also not the best at spelling. So there's our headers. Let's move on. Let's do some pictures, okay? Now, some of you might know how to do this already. Some of you might not. So hopefully I can teach you something different. I'm just going to insert a picture, and I'd like for you to insert a picture as well. So I'm going to click on the Insert button, Insert Bing Pictures. You know what? I didn't give you any time for a table of contents. Do you want to spend maybe 2 minutes doing a table of contents? I'm going to stop. I didn't give you any time to do the table of contents or a header. So I'll stop for about 2 minutes, and I'll give you just a little bit of playtime here. And if you run into any questions, let me know. I have a bunch that I can cover. There's some of these, I got a bunch of tips and tricks. So if these are too remedial, let me know. If it's too difficult, I can also show you some more basic stuff. So just let me know in the chat how we're doing, and I can tailor it to you. But I'll give you a minute here just to set up that table of contents, because it does take a second. And once you do set it up once, it's pretty easy to remember after that. So I'll just pause. I'll set a little timer on my phone. We'll give ourselves about 2 minutes.
Yeah, and if you've already gotten your table of contents set up, then try and see if you can format it in a different way. Because I know my Microsoft Word already has a standardized way, but it may not work for the theme of your organization. So perhaps you can try and change up the fonts, change up the colors, see how easy it is. And give us a thumbs up if you are already set. You have your table of contents, you have your headers. Just let us know in the chat so we know that you're all set and ready to go for our next steps.
Yep, you jumped in right when the alarm was about to go off.
Yay.
So it's good time. So I think it's important to try out this other thing that I'm going to show you now. Now, if you were able to do your table of contents, let us know and we can repeat that, or your headers. But right now we're going to move on to our adding a picture, and we're just going to talk about some wraparound footage or wraparound text for our pictures. So I'm just going to grab a picture here from my online source. So really easy to do that in Word as well. When you're doing this right now, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. It doesn't matter where you grab it from. So I'm just going to pick from one of these options here. Sure, we'll do. Actually, let's do that one. Okay, and now here comes my picture. All right, and once I get this picture in, actually what pops, you'll see at the top of my tabs here, what's going to pop up is the picture option. So it'll just load, give it a second, and you'll see that I will get some options for pictures when I highlight the picture. There we go. So you can see that new tab has actually appeared, and it's just going to load, and it will, I hope. And when it does, you'll get some options, and one of them is going to be this wraparound text option. Am I recording something? Why do I have this little red dot here? Am I dictating? I'm just curious of maybe why it's slowing down is because I'm recording something, but I don't think I am. I don't know why that little dot is there. Oh, it's using my camera. The tab is using my camera microphone. Oh, that's nice that it shows that. So yeah, it's using, okay. I understand. I gave it permission to use my camera. And my picture. I'm just going to give it a quick refresh. Sometimes this happens. But what I'm trying to do is when you click on the picture, you'll see that you get some format options. So you can click on your format options. It just makes it aesthetically more pleasing. You have some options for your, like a banner or a frame of some kind on that image. But then we want to start talking about some text. So we can put some text over top the image. We can wrap it around. We can do some options there. So as it's loading, it is in my PowerPoint as well from today. So you can always check on that PowerPoint. But while it's loading, I'm just going to go down to it so you can try it on your own. It is, I think it's slide probably 15, somewhere around there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try everything here to speed up my computer. Bella, I'm going to turn off the camera for you. If you need any tips and tricks on how to speed up your computer, you can talk to me. Because it's a lifelong journey I'm going through. Have I found the correct tip yet? Nope, I can't pinpoint the correct tip, but I can definitely give you a bunch of them that you can try. So there's that picture with text options. So when you click on picture, you should get some sort of wraparound text option. And we're going to use one of these options to just put some text onto this picture. Okay, so hopefully it's back. That picture is completely gone. Oh, wow. All right. So let me pull that back out. There it is. Here we go. Okay, and picture. Trying to get rid of everything now because it's completely shutting down on me, and this isn't ideal. But once you click on the picture, you should be able to see some options there for wraparound text. So click on the wraparound text. See what you can do with those 5 options there. So you have inline with text, square line, square right, text behind, text in front. Okay, and you'll be able to see that you do get some really nice options to just make that image a little bit more usable and a little bit more visually appealing to individuals on your Word document. So take a second, check that out. There we go. There we go. I'm up and running. Okay, change your background, change your fold or your framing here as well if you'd like, and then you click on wraparound text. And let's do a text in front. And now I can just did I just delete the picture after all this hard work?
Accidentally.
Okay, so it seems to be just having a little go with me today, and that's okay. I'm going to stop that demo, and I hope that you can find it on yours because it is pretty user-friendly, and it just click on picture, and as I showed you in the PowerPoint, and that's why we make these PowerPoints, just in case something like that happens, right? You can see where it is. So try that out. I'll give you a minute here, and while you're doing that, I'm going to jump on my phone. And I'm going to show you how Word is on your phone and how awesome it is and how easy it is to use. Okay.
Yeah, and one thing that I think Coulter has mentioned, yes, installing Office to your desktop would allow you to have access to functionality that is only available on desktop. But what's great about it being online is that everything is in the cloud. So now he's going to show you how you're able to access it on your phone as well. Potentially dangerous because we do want to have our healthy work-life boundaries, but just you can see that there's actually, it's quite powerful. It's not just simply for viewing only. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree that work-life balance not being accessible on your phone all the time is convenient or is important to make sure that we have. However, sometimes it's just like, I don't know, I'm waiting in Costco. There was like a 20-minute line the other day. Okay, I'm going to pull up my phone and get something done real quick. So you have that possibility to do these sort of things now that we have our availability to be mobile and on the go. So there's my home screen. There's my dog. And pretty clean, pretty tidy, right? I got some folders. Don't mind that 28 emails. That's a bunch. Other than that, pretty good here. I'm going to check my Microsoft box here. And in here, I have my Word document. So I can click on Word. And I was playing around with it earlier. But what I have here is basically just a blank Word document. So I can go home. Done. Let me go back to it. There's my home screen. Okay. So here's some of my documents that I'm working on. I can click on that plus button. And here's that blank document. There are even some templates for me to work through. I've got folders here as well set up. Okay. And if I just click on blank document, I even have the dictation feature there for me, so I can start typing in that dictation. And click on the pen there. Or, sorry, my keypad there to start typing if I'd like. I also have these 3 dots at the top there. So the 3 dots at the top, those are my options. There's my headings. There's the read aloud if I want it read back to me. So I have all these options here that are available on my phone. Super convenient, super helpful. If I clicked on the home button now here on the left-hand side where it says home, there are some options there. So I have insert, draw, layout, review, view. So I have all of those really nice options here to enhance my productivity and just make it more accessible for me. So you do have really the power of Word on your computer is now the power of Word on your phone. So you don't really have you do have some tools that you're missing, but for the general part, the basics, you're pretty good to go here. Okay. So that's Word. Now, if I wanted to work on something else, say I wanted to get into my lens, my Office Lens. Office Lens is your pocket scanner. Okay. So what I can do is I can just grab a little picture here. I got a little calendar set up. I got April ready to go. I'm going to move my hands out of the way here, and I'll grab a little picture of April. Okay, I got my little stubby fingers there in the way, so I can probably crop those out, hopefully. Close enough. The nice thing about this is if it was a better picture or if I did it a little bit better, it crops it for me automatically, but it's okay. It's nice to be able to have that option. I can now crop that. I can now, if I want to crop that, I can crop the borders or do that whole thing, confirm. And now I want to change it around. So I rotate. There it is. Okay, and I can even add some text to it if I want. April showers. Whatever, right? I'm just showing you some options here. And when I'm done, I click on done. And I can put it to any one of my personal accounts. There's my school account that I'm working with. So I can put it there. And then I can actually even put it right into a Word document. So it's transferring over to a Word document. So once it transfers, we can show that I can actually take that and I can work with it. I can also do something like this one. Here's another example. Oops. It's opened up the Word document for me. This was a picture I took earlier, and this was just a picture of a book. And now that I've taken the picture of the book, I can put it into Word with the writing, and now I can edit this as well. So this is my PDF. Basically, it's a PDF now that I can edit, and I can read through. So there's that picture that I took. There's my little stubby fingers on the right there. And this is exactly what was in that picture there. So now I can actually take that and I can start editing through this. So I can delete, I can start typing, I can add things.
And does this work with like any printed documents, or like a menu?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Anything really. It does actually even work with handwriting, but you do have to be quite legible. It does have to be pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? It does have to be pretty legible, pretty clean cut handwriting. So that's just something that is really powerful. You're able to do some things like that. That's using Lens. Cancel. And just I wanted to just show you the power of your phone and Lens together using Microsoft Word. And I thought I put my stuff on DND. I did put it on DND. I knew I did. But I'm still getting messages, so I'm sorry. So that is my phone screen record option. Oops. And I should be gone. There we go. So really nice way that we can use Word and use Lens to get some documents going and to get some items in our from our phone or wherever we are. We can now make these documents and create some nice options. It creates some nice options for us, basically. And let me share. I should be sharing my screen again. Isabel, did you see my screen?
No, not yet.
Not yet. All right, let me try it again.
Perfect. We'll see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that pretty much brings us to the end of our Word. I do want to show you two more things real quick. One thing is that if we are sharing our documents, our Word documents, top right, we click on share. We can share it with anybody that we'd like. I'm sure that a bunch of you have already done this before, but it is nice to see that you do have an expiry date on this and that you do have that option to edit and change things, but you have that link settings. So that's where you're going to find some allow editing. And you can also even block a download option. Okay, so you can even block that option for students to download with that, or for anybody to download. With that being said, keep in mind, you share something with me and I can't download it, I might take my phone and grab a picture of it. So that content can still be available. And you saw how I could just take a picture of that. And technically, if I wanted to take a picture with Lens, take a picture with Lens, put it into Word, and now I can edit that document myself. So just be aware of that. It's just important to know that if you're blocking the download, don't think that nobody can have a copy to that. So that is your settings. But there's a difference between the share settings and a comment settings. So I can actually put on comments and say I wanted to do a new comment. I'm just going to highlight meeting notes here. Meeting notes, and I click on comments. I can click on new comment. And now I can do an @ mention, so I can find my colleagues. So I can go @ and here's a colleague of mine, JP. I can click @ JP. I've assigned it to him, and I can just say check this out. make sure your ideas are on the agenda. Whatever, right? So you can set that up and send it off. And now JP is going to get a little notification saying that he's been invited to make a comment or to review a document. So important to know that these are the comments, difference in sharing, but I can just do an @Baruch and it pops up, and it's really nice and easy. Okay, so that's the comment. And the last thing with that is if I click on review, I can actually show comments. Track changes. This is what I want to show you. I can track changes. So I can track changes for everyone or just your changes. So if you want to see what people, if you've shared a document and you want to see what people are doing, you can track these changes really easily now. And you can always go into your OneDrive and like revert back to the previous format. Like you can always go back to see the old style that was. So say I shared this out today, September 29th, and a bunch of people made edits on September 30th. I can always go into my OneDrive and see what those edits were, or what the original document looked like. And after the changes have been made, I can see those changes and updates. So, but it's really nice just to click on this and you can just see changes that have been made for just you, track changes. Okay, so good to know that it's there. Good to know that it's here and available for you. Okay. One last thing, check accessibility. It's available across all of your Microsoft programs. If you are producing any sort of work for individuals that might need some accessibility things, you can always check on that and see how you can make it more appealing to them. Like I'm missing alternative text for my picture, so I don't have anything describing this text. Image or object not in line. So just making things a little bit better for your audience. Okay, and I can always click on add additional information and I can read more about making documents more accessible. For me, this one in Word and the PowerPoint one are the two more applicable ones that I find that I'm using on constantly to making sure that it is accessible for my students. So check that out. It's across your Microsoft platform. It's quite a nice option. So that gives us, without much time left, to just jump over to our to our forms. So I'm going to head over to forms. I'm going to go back to my, well, there's a few ways to navigate from your, once you're signed in. You can always click on your waffle here, top left. If you click on the waffle, you'll be able to see all of your tools. You can always click on all apps as well. And click on forms. Okay, and it's going to load up some of my forms that I have. I don't have too many forms in this account, but while you're doing that, hopefully while this is loading, hopefully you're able to get over to your forms. And now I'm not even sure how often you've used forms. In the chat, could you let me know maybe on a scale of 1 to 5, your level of understanding with forms would be great. Just let me know in the chat. Where are you at with your forms knowledge on a 1 to 5 scale?
One, you have no idea what's happening. 5, you're like, I'm pretty proficient in it. I would love to learn some tips and tricks. Ooh. Brigitte is an expert in Microsoft Forms. That's amazing. Perhaps you can show us some tips and tricks as well. I think Coulter is just going to be like going through the basics of setting it up.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome that you're using it and that you're able to incorporate that, because it is a nice, powerful tool and it is available for you in a few different formats. Like you can use it in Teams really easily, like really easily in Teams, and you can create polls in Teams. So it is a nice option. I have set out in our PowerPoint some basic ways to use things and some basic ways to use it just to set it up for you. But if, and there's so many more resources that you have, and I'll share those at the very end with you. So let's get started. So I'm going to click on, you have an option here. You have new quiz or you have a new form. The difference between the two A quiz, you can have an option for immediate feedback. That's the biggest difference. Uh-oh, I'm signed out. Oh, okay. Let me get that in there. So you do have your forms and your quiz that are just a little bit different. The quiz, you are able to provide immediate feedback. So if you want to provide someone with an answer to something, it's more applicable to like classroom teachers. So I don't know how often you'll be using immediate feedback. So if you don't need that, you can use the forms. But if you, it really, those are the two major difference, or the major difference. There it is on the left-hand side, forms. I'm going to click on that. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly go over this with you. I'm going to click on a form. You know what? I might as well click on a quiz as well while this is loading. Okay, and we're just going to give it a quick title. And maybe you're just trying to gauge whatever. Maybe it's a staff party that we're organizing, or maybe it's a some sort of event that we need to have some information on participants. Okay, so you can see untitled form, untitled quiz. But if I add new, I've got pretty much the same options there as I do for the quiz. Major difference, you get immediate feedback, especially if you're doing like a multiple choice question. Okay, so when I click on this on quiz, I can just title this up. I can also insert an image here. So a quick little image that I can insert. So my untitled quiz is just going to be activities. Okay, and now I'm going to choose some text, or I'm going to just choose a choice one. Just the idea, we only have about 8 minutes left, not even. The idea is that you get familiar with just adding a couple of questions in, and then just feeling comfortable even seeing the responses, changing a theme, and sharing this out. So within our 9 minutes, this is a quick rundown of forms. But the nice thing about forms, it's super user-friendly, so it's not too difficult to get the hang of once you've used it once or twice, because of how user-friendly it is, and just nice and simple. So which do you prefer? Okay, there's my option one, and it might be tennis or golf. Okay, so which activity would you rather do? Or maybe it would be bowling. Okay, now for this type of question, we're looking for a response from our participants. We don't have to give them a message. Okay, but if you did, you can say, make sure you bring socks. Okay, and you can provide that message, so when they answer that, they'll see that answer, that message that you provided them will come through. Everything is just slowing down on me here. Okay, so I can do bring reindeer. Okay, so that's the first one. I can also add another option if I'd like. I don't need to. So now I have some options to add some other things. Maybe we're looking for a date. What date works best? So I click on that. Okay, and what date works best? Okay, and then I can begin to add some things and have students, or sorry, have your peers fill this out as you want. Like really, right now, it's just a nice way, just showing you hopefully how to put together a form, and how that you have a few different options. You can always upload a file as well. So say you want to upload a file for a specific thing, for a specific question. Maybe it's maybe it's a document from your Word. Maybe you want to have a Word document or a PowerPoint. You can have that file up there to support this. Okay. Did you read the file below? Okay, so the quiz part for these types of questions might not be the way to go. Maybe we want to jump into that form and use these ones. Okay, so I can upload a file this way. It's the same thing, right? We have that 10 gig file, 100 or 10 megabytes, 100 or the gig. Okay, so you do have a lot of option for size.
I have to say that the 10 megabytes was not even like helpful for my students because almost everybody's phone is on like 4K HD mode. So even a single image that they have to upload for me is like huge. So like 10 megabytes doesn't really allow them to upload it. So like just keep in mind in terms of the type of file that you're trying to collect as well and the sizing of that.
Yep, I agree. So with our forms here, once we've created a few questions, okay, we can, and maybe you have that file that you've uploaded. You need to upload that file. And you can also make sure that you tick off required. That's important to know. So they have to answer these questions. Okay. We can also add a subtitle. We can also add branching. What branching means is that once they answer this, it can be branched off to another type question. Okay. Go next to. So we choose what's the next question. End of form. So which do you prefer? Which day works best? So you can choose where they are asked or what the next question is once they've figured this question out. Again, personal preference on how you want to use this, but it's important to know that you can branch your questions. Maybe if they answer no to something, like, do you want to come to the party? No, then you can go right to the end of the form, right? So those are some nice options there when you're setting up this form or this quiz. Click on the back. And once you're done, you can always set your theme. Just choose a theme. Again, just aesthetics thing, but you could also add your own custom theme, insert an image for yourself. Okay, so you can make it a little bit more personal, which is nice. Then, once you're all done, we can click on preview. And this is what it looks like on the computer, but it's also available on the mobile, on your mobile. So now I can just answer this. I'm going to go bowling. I can choose a date. That works best. And I didn't read the file, but I also have this immersive reader tool here that allows it to be read to me. If I need it to be read to me, I click on immersive reader. But I didn't read this file here, but I can click submit. Oh, this question is required.
I love that you sort of like tested it out to see how it would look like on somebody's phone versus on the computer. So like, as you can see, if somebody just like did it without really thinking, it won't let them submit the form because it's a required question.
Yep. Yep. So I'm able just to upload that picture there. So there's that. I just uploaded a picture just to finish the question, right? So then I click submit. It's great that you can trial this, right? And then I can go on, and now that I've submitted this, I can view results. But there are the results here, and I can go back to the thank you page. There's the thank you page. But when I go back here, and I click back, I can actually see the responses that come in. And this is really nice because it's all right here. And then I can open this in Excel as well, which is also quite a nice option. So I can open that in Excel, and I can see this, all the data come out through Excel. I'm not going to open it because I know that when I open up an Excel doc on my computer right now, it will slow it down because it goes to your desktop Excel. Okay, but it is quite a nice way, and I can see as more and more people come through, I can see more details. Okay, so last 2 minutes here, I have the share feature and click on share. Really nice way to get a QR code if needed. I can get a duplicate link. I can also collaborate and share. So ways that I can work with other people and who can respond to this as well. That might be important for you to know. So that sharing, it looks a little bit different than the other options that we were using. Like the share in Word or the share in PowerPoint looks a little bit different because you do have some of these options here. But it's quite nice. Okay, so that's the share. Then I have my 3 dots here. My 3 dots usually mean settings. So I click on my settings, and now I can fill out these specific settings that I like. Personal preference, but it's so important to know that these are here. Maybe you want to shuffle the questions. Maybe you have a start date or an end date to offer these. Okay, so just important to know that these are here under your settings to set that up. So we have kind of covered this in a real quick time. I didn't give you any play time, but this is recorded. If you want to go back and you need to find a little bit more information about forms and how to set this up, you can always go back and rewatch this. However, it's so user-friendly that even with that 10-minute quick tutorial here, hopefully you're able, if this is your first time using it, you're able to set this up and start using it, because it is such a nice option for you. What you can also do is you can grab these forms and you can actually share them. And like I said, you can grab this like QR code. I can download the QR code. And then I can insert that QR code. I'm done. I can insert this QR code, or I can insert this link into my Word documents. So I want to get this link, and copy the link, and I can pop it over here in a Word document. Let's get this out of the way. And it makes it really nice and easy because let's get that out of the way. There we go. So here's the Word document I was working on. There's a link to the form. I just pasted the link down. And so now it's available for my students, and it actually is in the Word document. So once I put the link down and press enter, I've already submitted the response. So, but it is a nice way that you can do this, and you can set your settings up so that it doesn't have this submitted response is already there. Okay, so a really nice way that you can integrate forms through Teams. I'm well over time here. I'm going to wrap it up. First and foremost, thank you for being here today. You do have, if you're collecting your points, you do have an option to continue collecting those for your PD. You can head on over to the Microsoft Education Center and throw in our PD code for today. If this is your first workshop with us, Microsoft Education Center is a good little spot to go in and find extra resources for you regarding Microsoft tools. They'll walk you through different tips and tricks on different things. There's probably around 100 workshops right now, or courses right now that you can take. So you can check those out. You can do specific ones for like Teams or for forms or for Word, and how you can incorporate that into your daily practice. So that information, the code is in the chat here. Isabella just pop that in. We also have a feedback form. Let us know what you would like in the future. If you want something specific, we're happy to tailor that to you. We're definitely happy to make it more customized to what you'd like to learn. So feel free to just throw in the feedback, what we can do to support you along the journey through educational tech or just technology in general. We also have our help email. Send us an email if you have any problems about any tool whatsoever. We're here to help you. We got lots of experts on the chat lines there, working away, trying to help you as best as they can. So feel free to use that. And that is it. That brings us to the end. So thank you again for being here today. I value your time, and I hope this was valuable for you and you found something new that you might not have known was available. And we hope to see you again in future workshops.